Of all the mysteries buried beneath the Earth's surface, few are as strange, or as unsettling, as what scientists stumbled upon deep in a labyrinthine cave system in South Africa. It began like any other expedition, with dust, darkness, and the distant echo of cautious footsteps in a place no light had touched for eons. But what they would find there, well, let us just say it would not only puzzle the scientific world, it would shatter our understanding of what it means to be human. The story begins not with bones, but with a problem. A question, really. One that had haunted paleoanthropologists for decades. If Homo sapiens are the end result of millions of years of evolution, if our intelligence, language, and society were gradual gifts passed down through ancient ancestors, then why do the fossils of a species, so incredibly recent, seem so impossibly primitive? The cave was called Rising Star. Its entrance alone was a nightmare, a vertical shaft that narrowed into a jagged tunnel, barely large enough for a human shoulder. Only the thinnest, most agile cavers could fit, inching their way down in pitch black, suspended between ancient stone and uncertainty. What lay beneath had not seen the surface for hundreds of thousands of years. No light, no air, no sound. And yet, there they were. Scattered across the cold stone floor were bones, not one or two, but many, dozens. Skulls, ribs, fingers, and legs. Lying in quiet layers of sediment, they looked human, almost, but there was something off, something deeply strange, because these beings, later named Homo Naledi, didn't fit the script. For one, they were small, shockingly so. Adults stood barely over 4 feet tall, with delicate limbs and frail frames, weighing less than 90 pounds on average. Their heads were compact, the skulls round and oddly shaped, with brain sizes half of what we expect in a modern human. That alone should have placed them deep in our evolutionary past. But carbon dating told a different story. These weren't ancient ancestors from 2 million years ago. They lived just 300,000 years ago. That's the same window in which our own species, Homo sapiens, first appeared. In other words, while our ancestors were crafting tools and painting on cave walls, these beings, smaller, older, seeming, with minds housed in tiny skulls, were alive at the same time. But this is where things get even weirder. Their hands were a paradox. The wrists and thumbs resembled our own, capable of precision grips, the kind you'd expect from a toolmaker, but the fingers long curved, built for climbing, like something from a tree-dwelling ape. Their shoulders, pelvis, and ribcage echoed traits from ancestors long extinct, species that should have vanished millions of years prior, and yet they walked upright, like us. Their legs were structured for endurance, with strong muscles and knees adapted for long-distance walking. They could climb like chimps, but also march like marathoners. They were built for 2 worlds, trees and land, as if evolution had somehow created a hybrid out of time. And then there were their teeth. Tiny, yes, but strong, durable, the kind of teeth designed not for cooked meals or soft fruits, but for chewing through roots and dirt-caked tubers, pulled from the earth. Their enamel was unusually thick, another throwback to more primitive species. And yet, the growth pattern of their teeth resembled that of modern humans, forming in stages that matched our own development. It was like looking at a photograph that had been edited. Ancient features in a strangely modern frame. All of this would have been odd enough. But then there was the biggest question of all. Why were so many of them found deep in that cave? The path to their resting place was treacherous. No predator could have dragged them there. No flood could have washed them in. And there were no signs of long-term habitation. No tools, no food remains, no artifacts of daily life. Just bones. So how did they get there? That's when a terrifying possibility began to emerge. One that scientists still hesitate to fully accept. What if they had been placed there, on purpose? To do that, to navigate the complex twists and vertical descents of that pitch-black cave, would required planning, light sources, cooperation, in short, intelligence. And yet, their brains were tiny, smaller than a human infant's. How could something so seemingly simple achieve something so profoundly human? Some researchers believe this was a burial site, not a random one, but intentional. A graveyard for their dead, hidden from predators, tucked into the earth. If true, it would mean Homo Naledi practiced ritual behavior, that they mourned, that they remembered, that they perhaps believed in something beyond life. Think about that. A species with a brain 1/3 the size of ours, performing ceremonial burials. If that's not unsettling, it should be. We like to think of intelligence as a ladder, one we've steadily climbed, rung by rung. But what if it's not a ladder at all? What if it's a web, tangled and unpredictable? What if species we long considered primitive had flashes of brilliance, emotional depth, cultural rituals, perhaps even language? Some anthropologists even suggest that Homo Naledi might have been capable of using tools, based on the structure of their hands. But to this day, no tools have ever been found in their presence. It's as if they were intelligent, but chose a different path. Or worse, their legacy was erased, left behind only in bone and shadow. We also know their lives weren't easy. Their bones bear marks of hardship, growth defects in their teeth, hinting at malnutrition, infections, and exposure to harsh climates. and yet they endured. For over 100,000 years, this mysterious species persisted in an unforgiving land, dwarfed by predators, surrounded by climate change, and, possibly, even by our own ancestors. What's perhaps most disturbing is how isolated they were. All known specimens of Homo naledi have come from one cave system. No other location on Earth has yielded their remains. It's as if they emerged from the dark, lived in the shadows, and then vanished again without a trace. Were they a relic, a population that somehow survived in a forgotten corner of Africa? Or were they more widespread, waiting to be discovered beneath our feet? We don't know. That's the honest answer. What we do know is this: they are real. They existed. They walked the earth at the same time we did, or very nearly. They climbed trees, walked long distances, perhaps buried their dead, and survived in ways we still don't fully understand. And yet, we never would have known about them, if not for a few brave explorers who dared to go deeper. The truth is, there may be other species, like Homo naledi, still waiting to be uncovered. Buried in unreachable caves, fossilized beneath ancient sediments, invisible in the fossil record. Species that challenge what we think we know about intelligence, evolution, and the uniqueness of our own story. So the next time someone says we read the pinnacle of human evolution, the one species meant to thrive, remember this: there was once another kind of human, one we were never meant to find, one that didn't fit the rules. And their story, as incomplete as it is, may be the key to understanding our own. Because if Homo naledi really did walk upright, bury their dead, and live lives filled with struggle and meaning, then maybe we weren't the first to wonder why we're here. Maybe we weren't the first to grieve, to climb, to explore, to dream. Maybe we were just the first to write it down.